Please let there be sound. And there was sound, and it was good. Good morning from Armenia, Colombia. Welcome to Grand Colombia Channel. Welcome back to Coffee Time Live, assuming you've been here before. I see a bunch of people that have. Excuse me. Yes, as usual, I already had my coffee and now I'm into the juice. Okay, what do we got here? Well, first, let's do a few hellos. Rob, good morning. First one as always. Juka, greetings from Helsinki. I'm glad you made it on time today. Let me write that down. This time, today, on time. Okay. Mike, how you doing? See you in a few days. Phil, good morning, Phil from LA. Sorry about that. And sounds good, Don. Thank you. Chad. Okay, so on what I'm looking at, it actually doesn't show me the emoji, but it shows face with tears of joy. Loud and clear. Okay, gotcha. Mike, good morning. Buenos dias. Yeah, from Edificio 360. Yeah. But I think you're in that crappy apartment across the hall from where I was, and that one, I believe it's cursed or haunted or something. Coleman, still in Ukraine, and you had reason to leave. Okay, how you doing? Dennis, good morning. William, long time no see, William. Good morning from Armenia. All right, let's get on with my topics here, which are pretty narrow today. Pretty busy week. I won't go through all the personal things, but it's been a busy week. It's been a good week for the most part. Yeah, another 3 days and I'm out of here. Not me. It's Coleman. First of all, picked up a new resident, the newest resident of Armenia. I picked him up at the airport in Pareda. So I had to driving here. Did I tell you guys how much driving here kind of sucks? Out in the country, it's, between cities, it's fine. But in the cities, it's, oh my God. Even when you know the city, it can be tough. I have problems here in Armenia. Between the motorcycles, being under your bumper and on top of your car and all over the place, you're trying not to, crush them. You have endless one-way streets, and you'll have a one-way street that'll go into another street that's coming the other way. And so you got to turn one way or the other. So, it's like I keep finding myself continuing on and realizing that somewhere along the line it changed. Yeah, there's that. So getting to the airport was pretty smooth sailing, and coming out of there, well, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but then we went back to do the visa. And I missed one turn by about 50 feet and ended up driving in and around the city for about 20 minutes to get back to where I was. Yeah, it's, anyway. I also, before all that, I had some issues still to deal with the house. I still got things going on here. I've got my little toolbox and plumber's hat, and the jury's still out, but one thing I can tell you is I miss my apartment at 360, and it's going to be mostly pale substitutes unless I find something as awesome as that. I've been working on my financial backup plan because of the cell phones now being the official method of identification. And I've got something that I think is going to work but I think it's going to work specifically for me, and I have to make sure that this is going to work for you guys, or there's alternatives. So I'm still working on it. What I did do is I got I have Movistar for my cell phone plan, which is 27,000 a month. And I got a message from them saying that for a few dollars, I can get a new Samsung M12. It's a brand new model. It's some new cheap phone line, except it's got features of the S line. I'm not even sure how or why they're doing that, because it's really full featured. It's got a killer camera. It's got all kinds of things going for it. But the retail price is under $200. But since I've got a plan and I've never gotten a phone through them, you know how they make those offers. Well, here it's not like, sign up for a year and we'll give you this new phone. And like, it wasn't like that. I'm actually not under contract on my plan, but they did offer to give me this phone for a few dollars a month for a year. So for about $20, $30, somewhere in there, I have this brand new Samsung N12. And it came delivered to my door a couple days ago, and I was looking it over. It's awesome. And what I've done was I took my phone, and because it's fully functioning, and I cloned it. So everything on my phone is here. And I'm doing updates so that this will be updated also. And the only thing that I'll have to do is you can only have your bank verification app on one at a time. So I have it on here, but it's not verified. But if something happens with this phone, if I can see the screen, I can actually approve it to switch over to this one. If I can't see the screen, what happened was my brother in the United States, my permanent address, stepbrother, half brother, I don't know, we're brothers, we're friends more than anything. He offered to call and see what he could do, and I said, I don't know what you're going to do. Although his address is my address of record. Well, it turned out that somewhere along the line with the bank, I must have listed next of kin. They had his name in my account. So when he called to authorize something for me, they accepted it. Now I tried to do that with a friend, and it wouldn't work. But his phone is now registered so that he can get the code and then give me the code, and then I can put it in for authorization. So no matter what happens, I have a permanent connection with my bank. Now that's not something everybody's going to have, but it's led me in a direction to see that there are ways to get around this, and I'll keep you updated on that. What else? Yeah, this phone is amazing. It's a little heavy. I'm not sure why, but it's for under $30 or even under the $200. This is the equivalent. I had a while back, a few years ago, I had a Samsung S7 Plus, and this is pretty much like that one. And the S7 to the S9, there's not a whole lot of difference. So anyway, I'm just amazed. Now this morning, I wasn't sure I was even going to have a coffee time. I didn't say anything because it was kind of up in the air. And why is that? Well, I had another person coming in, flying in this morning. I think 8:15 I was supposed to be at the airport in Armenia, pick him up, and he was going to be here for a couple days, keeping me busy. And then Mike on here, he's going to be here October 2nd, and he'll be with me for 3 days in my place. And then he's, as far as I know, he's moving here also. So, busy 11 or 12 days in a row. So I get up this morning about, my usual, it was around 6 o'clock. It was still dark out. and I get my coffee and I watch a couple things on YouTube, just kind of keep up with things. And I get a message from him, and he said he showed up a few minutes late at the airport, and apparently he bought his tickets 3 weeks ago. And I'm gonna fill in the blank with what I think is he said basically he got bumped from the flight. And I think what happens if you're not there by a certain time, then at that point they release your seat, and people that are waiting, um, I forget what they call that, but people that are waiting, they'll then give that seat. Well, then if you show up, well, that seat's now been given away, even though you bought and paid for it. It's not going to go empty. They're going to do it that way. So he had to buy another ticket to fly here tonight. And in case you're wondering, he said it costs $44. I know they'll go as low as 27, but that's kind of the range. So um, I'm assuming, I think, I'm to pick him up tonight. He's going to get back to me with exactly what time it is and what flight it is. But he had already canceled most of tomorrow because, for one of the best reasons, I guess he found a girl somewhere, and he's going to be spending that time with her. So I don't know. It chopped a hole in this week, which is okay because I get to watch the football game, right? Uh, but anyway, he's a good guy. He's contributed to the channel a number of times, and yeah, I'm gonna take it in the shorts for the rental car. On the other hand, he's always been a friend of the channel and took care of the channel, so you can't get too upset about that. Um, for the new person, just an idea of some of the things we went through. I picked him up at the airport, and one of the first things we did, well, the next day, we spent the rest of that day together talking about different things, and showed him some supermarkets, but the next day I took him to the visa office. He had never contacted them previously, so I emailed the night before, and I said, and she's always busy. I say, hey, is there any way you can get us in tomorrow so I can get this done? And said, yeah, I'll be there at 10. Okay, so we drove in to the visa office, and I dropped him off, and I had to meet somebody across the street at the little mall. That's where the parking garage is, in the basement. And so I hung out there. I had an empanada and a juice and waited. And he was there. Well, before we did that, we went walked about a block and a half to get his passport photos. He didn't have those, but they're right there. It's no problem. He got I think 6 photos, and I believe it cost him 6,000. I think 6,000 pesos, like a buck and a half or something for 6 photos, something like that. And so we went back, and I took them in, I introduced them, and I went and did my thing. Now, she doesn't really speak English, although she understands some. But he wasn't there very long. I'm guessing maybe 20, 25 minutes, and done. All he has to do now is wait a few weeks, and his visa will be finished. And she will already make his appointment for the cedula. There's kind of a new process for that now. And so before the end of October comes around, he'll have his visa, he'll have his cedula, he'll be a legal resident and good to go. So that's all pretty cool. So we did that. Like I said, I showed him around Armenia. I said the guy who finds apartments for people that maybe don't even have their cedula yet, he's out looking now. I gave him some parameters, some broad strokes of what the gentleman's looking for, and he's out searching. They'll get in touch with each other. I've given them both each other's contact information. He also doesn't speak English, but you can get by with him with Google Translate. He's pretty intelligent guy. We spent some time talking about the culture, basically a few tips on how to succeed and and also how you can massively fail. And so things to avoid. You don't want to get on that side of the ledger. And we spent a little time talking about Google Translate, how to best make it work. It took me quite a while. I mean, anybody could sit down and use Google Translate, but it's so easy to have it mess up. But you learn in time certain things to do and not do, and how to how to input the information, which makes much cleaner translations and much less room for error. And it also helps you with the language. So we did that. It's those kinds of things. So we spent a few days living that kind of life. Tomorrow we may get to go to Buena Vista, but because everything's up in the air for me right now, I'm not sure what's up. What else we got? Okay, let me take a look. There's a few comments here. Emil, good morning. Good morning from that waterfall. Pretty awesome little video clip you sent. He's in Mexico right now because they threw him out of Colombia. He was a bad boy, so they spanked him. They shaved his hair, and they made him move to Mexico for a while. Libby, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Want to see your new place? Are you going to like it? Honestly, it's okay. It's okay, and it's better than a lot of places I've lived. But the truth of it is, I was spoiled a little bit, and there's certain things about here that I don't want to go back to. There's a single house has some real advantages, but the high rises here in Armenia in particular, and I won't say this about the one I lived in Ecuador, although it was very nice, but I've been spoiled by living in the high rises here and the way that I'm treated and the extra things that people will do for you. I want to get back into another high rise. I won't say this was a grand mistake because it's a nice place. I've got a lot of room here. I love the studio area, but I'm down lower and it's a little warmer. It's not too hot, but I do have to have my fan on at night. I'm not sitting around sweating, so it's not like that, but it's just a few degrees warmer, and I really like the cool, and I like the constant breeze in through my balcony doors, and my other place was the same way. And this one's kind of down, so it's, I've got the trees on the other side, which kind of blocks some of that breeze. There's still a breeze, but it's just not the same. It's not as robust. And last night, I woke up with some mosquito bites. Now I'm really aggravated about that because you know how much I really hate mosquitoes. So right now I'm not feeling it so much, even though there's a lot to be said for it. I'm just not saying it right now. Where are we at? Henry, good morning. Some chat's jumping on me. Hello from Japan. Japan! Nihongo wo hanashimasu ka? Kyoi genki desu ne. I love Japan. I lived there for better than 3 years. Some of the best girlfriends I ever had in my life. I swear I enjoyed every minute. And I would have actually liked to have gone back to live in Japan, although I think between the two, I probably prefer Colombia. I think Colombia is my favorite place. But I would have really considered it. I couldn't afford to go. Now, there are places, you don't have to be in Tokyo, spending ridiculous amounts of money. There are places in Japan you can go that are relatively inexpensive. But I don't know, it just wasn't in the cards for me. I hope you're loving it. Feel free to talk a little bit about it. I miss the place. Mike, should I drop my U.S. phone plan? I know that my banking and Social Security use my phone number for ID. What should I do? I'm still working on that. Don't drop it yet. We will talk, and it also depends on what U.S. plane you have, whether it functions here or not. There's a whole range of things that I've been learning. So let's talk in person on that. Whoops, jumped on me here. According to the visa people in Pineda, American Embassy in Bogota now do appointments for apostille up to 40 days waiting. Did you hear about it? Yeah. On the other hand, well, they'll tell you a month. Okay, mine took 2 weeks. They'll tell you a month because it could be up to a month, and that's true. But they've been doing this for so long that they get a bit of a priority. So I mean, they know people. They see them on a daily basis. It's one of those things that's, oh yeah, come on, come on. It's like skip the line sort of thing. So I mean, I can't guarantee anything. And the thing is, when you do a visa, just if you're sure that you're going to want a visa, don't procrastinate. Just do it. As a matter of fact, that's why William, I took him the next day. What's the point in waiting? You got to do this anyway. Let's just get it going. And because he's renting that apartment that I've advertised on here for a month, which means he's got a month to locate a place, but he really should have his cedula. So let's get this thing moving. My real estate guy helped and got a guy in an apartment contract with only his passport. But I'll tell you that was a shock to me, and that's not something that is likely to happen again, or at least very often. So yeah, everything is kind of up in the air as far as how things used to go, and it changes a little bit. But like I said, I just went through mine, and I was shocked how fast it came back. Chad, can't beat the cool breeze and high rise. Yeah, yeah. And yeah. Japan, immigration rate 0. Good luck with that. Japan is a great place to live. People there were so nice to me. And the language is so easy to learn. People have this idea that it's like a ultra difficult language. It's not Chinese, it's Japanese. And I don't know. It was very easy for me to learn. I mean, I was literally fluent within a year. And I was told by a number of people in Japan that I didn't even have an accent. They had this idea that I'd lived there for years. I suck at languages. But Japanese is more like, it's more like a mathematical language. And for me, I was right at home with that. That's me all over the place. Good morning, Lauren. Just sent a contribution. It went through as anonymous. Well, now you just gave it away, didn't you? Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, there it is. Gracias, mi amigo. I really appreciate that. That'll help cover that car. Thank you. Hello again from Japan. How do I look? How do I look? I guess you look great. I don't know. I don't know who you are. What is the 100 million pesos charged during visa and cedula processing that Pineda people charge? Well, overall it's more than that. It's and some prices just went up recently. It's going to run about 1,900,000, somewhere in there, and it'll fluctuate with exchange. But their charge it's under $200. I don't remember exactly. It's like $100 and something. And what you get for that is they're in Pereira. They also have people in Bogota. And instead of having to go to Bogota, their people do it. So they'll send your information by courier to the people there. They make the appointment at the embassy. They go in, wait in line. They get the apostille for you. The apostille is done at the embassy is really useful because they actually verify your Social Security and they do the apostille. They take care of the Spanish translation. That's why you don't have to do any of that stuff. Like in Ecuador, you have to do all that. Then they'll go over to the consulate. They do the visa appointments. They take care of that. And the thing is, if you do it, you've got to go to Bogota, and you're going to spend not just transport, but you can't get it done in one day. So you got hotel expenses. You've got to figure out where you're going, what you're doing. It's kind of a hassle, and they're very inexpensive to do all of that. So beyond their fees, everything else, the other $400 or whatever, is between the embassy and the consulate. I've gotten the itemization. I've gotten the receipts back from the embassy, from the consulate. I mean, it's legit. And considering the thousands and thousands that I had to pay in Ecuador and the 6 months, more than 6 months it took me to get it done, and the endless trips, including a trip out of the country and back because they screwed up and I had to pay the price for the time limit. Looking at a $500 here where I don't have to do anything but visit the office, man, to me, it doesn't get any better than that. Holds a shining star. Okay, that's in the chat thing. Like I say, I don't get the emojis. I get the description. Who wants to be a cute person? Okay, not following any of that. Glenn, can you recommend a good hotel and a good location for walking and restaurants? Well, it depends. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. It depends on, when. The prices fluctuate. Sometimes the ones I like are full. So, that's when people are saying, okay, I'm going to be there on such and such a day, then very often I'll send by email, I'll send 3, 4, 5 links of places that are a safe bet. A description of what it is you want to do and where you want to go. Honestly, Lauren, don't waste your time trying to justify $800 to immigrate to another country. Anyone questioning? No, well, it's not 800. It's 500 or under $500, and I think it was just a question. I don't think it was anything out of the ordinary. But I explain it because people want to know. They want to know what's going on, what the deal is, what are you going to run into, what's fair and what's unreasonable. So, am I still working here? My chat thing seemed to quit working. All right. Hold on. Let me try to do something here. Bear with me. All right. Is it working now? All right. Hopefully it's working so I can put it up on the screen. Boom. There we go. Yes, got it working. All right. Is World Remit still dependable? Yes, but there's limitations on it. So you're going to be here in a few days. We'll talk about it. All the thing with finances, I'm going to hesitate where usually I just talk about because of the changes, how it's affected me. And I got to kind of get it organized. It got pretty complicated for me. You have to understand, I had to live with these issues for about 2 months as I was trying to sort it out and kept running into problems. But I will talk about that. Okay, so I want to show you something. Where is it? Okay, going to the airport, we stopped for an early lunch, and I just want to show you that clip. I was always curious about this place. It's coming out of Pareda, going to Armenia, and it's kind of a complex. You got a hotel up there, you got some restaurants here, a dessert place, a pharmacy, pizza. There's an Italian restaurant. Around the corner is one of those Brazilian all-you-can-eat meat places where they just keep coming to your table and giving you meat. An ecological park over there. Look, a car wash. There's the road. That way to Pareda, that way to Armenia. Some fake horses and camels over there. Some dinosaurs. I heart Pareda. Cool place. So I'm having a bandeja paisa for lunch before I go pick up my gringo visitar. Bandeja paisa. Chicken. Boring. In case you're wondering why the place was so empty, it's because we were there kind of early. Nobody really eats lunch, before 12, and usually it's more like 1 to 2 o'clock. We were there. I think I pulled in about 11:30, something like that. And but as we were finishing up, a lot of people started pouring in, started arriving. So, I'm sure somebody was wondering that. Yeah, while I was away, Victor, thank you for the contribution. I very much appreciate it. I'm blessed. I really feel that way doing these videos much of the time. Can you imagine, you think about these people that retire and they don't know what to do and end up dying 6 months later? It's like, I barely get a chance to breathe. I stay so busy. I don't have time to think about dying, It's not in my schedule. So, we are officially into the question and answer period, and we're doing pretty good. We're not going to drag this out today. I'm definitely going to end it before 12, but how much before 12 depends on what we get for questions, if you have any. Chad, I stopped at the Cafe and Queso across the street. So good. Yeah, I was so distracted by these life-size things of horses and dinosaurs and rhinoceroses and all of that stuff that I wasn't even paying attention to what else was over there. I use World Remit every week. It works okay. It has a 1,500 euro limit a month. There's a couple limits with World Remit for US dollars. I think the monthly is 5,000 and 2,000 in one transaction, something like that. I was in it recently, and it was something like that. Okay, do we have any questions? We certainly have a couple contributions, and those are awesome. Questions. I did just get my visa. I'm waiting for my schedule. It's supposed to be ready tomorrow, as a matter of fact. I can go pick it up tomorrow. They told me 10 days, which was a surprise. I mean, before it was like 2-3 days. Do you know the quality of the grade schools or high schools in Armenia? Uh, Not directly, of course. I do have a friend with a couple kids, and we were talking about schools one day, and she was telling me that there's a lot of differences in the schools, and the schools in the south part of the city are kind of crap. And she said that there's a couple schools. There's one public one in the north part near the Coliseum or the stadium. It's very near that. I forget the name, but it's a public school. And she said that one has a really good reputation. And then there's several private schools in the north of Armenia that are supposed to be like, woohoo, awesome. I don't really know more than that. I know where one of the private schools is located. It's been pointed out to me, and I know where the public school is located. But I can't even personally vouch for, is that true or not? I assume that she knows. I mean, she's in the business of putting kids in school, so. Um, Explain how you get in Colima from 360. Ha ha ha. Well, you're supposed to go to the fourth floor parking garage and walk across, and there's a door, and you either use a card, which is what they're claiming now, or a thumbprint, which was the original design. There's a thumbprint thing there. You open that door, you walk through the mall parking garage into the mall. So you never step out of rain and you never have to climb up a hill or whatever. But for whatever reason, the administration of the building does kind of suck. And although it doesn't have direct effect on me except in things like this, I have no idea why they're not getting around to it. But what I do is I'll go out, by the guardhouse, and then I'll take a sharp right at that road that runs behind the mall. It's more of an alley because it's all covered. And the first set of stairs on the right, you walk up those stairs to the fourth floor, and then you walk into the back of the parking garage. That's how I get there. Or you can just walk up the side of the mall outside. It's just, if it's raining or something. I find it easier to exert myself on the four stories and have it done with than to walk up the long grade to the front. It's like make it hard and fast, and I'm better than slow and bleh. Keith, I'm not sure what that is. Oh, I see. I'm with you with the mosquitoes. I've traveled many countries and a lot. My sleep quality has gone down since traveling. I think I will get a mosquito net. Well, if you're in Armenia, that's not necessary. I'll bet you I might have had 2 mosquitoes. And if I do have that little plug-in that I have to use once or twice a year for a couple of weeks. And for all I know, we might even be in that time where even in 360 I would have used that. It works real well. They never bother me. I haven't had any mosquitoes here. I've been here for about a month already. And last night was the first time. Well, I woke up this morning. I didn't even know there were, but I woke up with a couple mosquito bites. I wasn't eaten alive, but I just really hate them. I hate them with a passion. Because there's things here that are kind of bothering me, then that gets probably a bigger place in my litany of cuss words than it would normally get, if that makes any sense. If anyone is contemplating using Lauren's relocation service, highly recommend him for local knowledge. Visa schedule process, generally a great person to spend time with. Checks in the mail. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, in all modesty, I'm more than worth it because everything becomes seamless. There's no hassles. Everything goes like that. He got a list yesterday of names and phone numbers for pretty much anything that'll come up. I even added a little X-rated thing at the request of several dogs that kept asking me, and it's like I didn't even know. I actually had to ask around, but I put that on there. So more like, okay, it's there, so don't ask me anymore. But whether it's cleaning your house or moving something, or I don't know. There's a whole list. It's an entire page of good, reliable, dependable people to reach out to. They're drivers, guides. I've got a few things listed in Manizales in case you go there. You can have contact people there. So that alone's probably worth a gold nugget. But yeah, I'm proud of what I do because I make it easy for people. And when you move somewhere, even if you're used to traveling and you're used to doing it, you don't know all the nuances. You don't know. It's like, well, if I go over here, that's the way I should go. That's what somebody told me. I go do it. And then you end up wasting 2 days and putting it just, it's kind of like, okay, well, you have a list. These are things that you need to know. These are things you need to do. And in those 3 days, we get through them all. And when we come out the other end, you're ready to start living. And it's pretty cool. I agree, Lauren. Was my set of training wheels for the Gringo and Colombia bike I need to ride. You're funny. Okay, Snowball, that happened to be the Starlight person. I don't know what's up with that, but so far you're harmless, so I don't care. Any other questions? We've done our advertising for Lauren already, so there's that. What do we got? Anything? Are we done? Damn, this will be an early day if we're actually done. But I'll give you the last call. Make sure we're still online here. Yep, we're still online. Got a bunch of people. All right. You're supposed to come prepared with questions. So that I can call on you. Somebody, what is that? Oh, okay. Any idea on what a driver for a day would cost in Manizales? Not sitting here off the top of my head, and I don't really want to speak to people, but Victor, I can give you the name and number. I don't normally just give those things out, but in your case, obviously I can. I mean, you live there, and shoot me off an email, and I'll send it to you. Lori 666. That's scary. Can you break down how much it costs to go to school in Colombia? No, I can't. School things it's just not my thing. And what school is? I mean, do you mean grade school, high school, university, post grad? I mean, I honestly do not know. That's not my thing. I know people here that do know those things, but I don't. So I really can't speak to it. Sorry. College. I can tell you this about the university. And here, just so you know, they don't say college. But as a matter of fact, kind of the translation of that would be colegio, and that actually means high school. So it's strictly university. Like in the U.S., we go college, university. Yeah, they're interchangeable. And here, it really isn't. University, it depends. If you go to University Condillo, that has public funding, and you pay based on your situation. I knew a girl, actually, I interviewed her on the channel. I actually know a number of people that go there, but these two girls go and they were doing languages. And so I interviewed them. They spoke English. And the one who lives in Tabita and goes there, her tuition for the semester was somewhere around $7 or $8. Now, that's not the normal. It depends on your situation. But but if you go to a private school like my my what shall I call her, pareja, my sweetie, she goes to the American Business School and she's taking police forensics, CSI, and I don't know her tuition, but I know it's very expensive. I learned the reason she's kind of spoiled and how she can do the school and how she, has money. It turns out her grandfather is a very, very wealthy man with tons of property all over the country. Uh, had no idea, but it explains a lot because she's a bit spoiled. Wonderful person, but a bit spoiled. And and I don't know how much that costs, but I know that in this economy, it's quite expensive. And she's going actually, it's a postgraduate thing. She did her university and then she's doing that. So that's a lot of talk to tell you that I don't know, but maybe you can get the sense from what I'm saying is there's a big range of this stuff, and it really depends on your situation, what's available, what you're after. Gimnasio English. Huh? Uh, oh, okay. North side of Armenia. Bilingual private school. Good to know. Do you have any idea of the cost? What native animals, not birds, have you seen? I have seen almost nothing and nothing big. Well, near the highways and stuff, you're not really going to see it. But if you get with Nick, my friend who does the birding, and birding is his passion, but he's involved in everything. Well, just to give you an idea, when you're driving from Armenia to Pereira, you see the road signs, and you'll see armadillo, you'll see meerkat. There's one for jaguar. There's one for the howling monkeys. There's what else? I don't remember. There's a whole bunch of them, not in a row, but different places, because just in this area, all of those things exist here. From what I understand, there's no speckled bear here. That's kind of a cross between a grizzly and a black bear. They're all kind of north of Bogota, from what I understand. But in other places in the country, there's tons of wild animals, but they're not going to be, or would very rarely be near populated areas. But if you really want to see that, hire Nick. He'll take you out in the middle of nowhere, and he'll show you the animals that are here. It's what he does, and when he's not doing it for his job, he's doing it for his own personal fun. That's his thing. How would you compare Pereira to Bucaramanga, especially the women? Well, I don't know about the women thing. I will tell you that Pereira has a reputation for having loose women. I don't know that it's earned or unearned. I tend to think those are kind of bogus things, and I think it's kind of insulting to lump everybody into a single category, whether it's a good or bad category. But as far as two cities, they're worlds apart. I like Bucaramanga. I don't like Pereira. They're similar sized, but Bucaramanga, I don't know what words to use. I would say that it's much more civilized. It's a wealthier city, and you can see that on a day-to-day basis. It's the wealthiest city in Colombia. It's got a zillion sky rises, high rises, skyscrapers, whatever, both. It's got spectacular malls. There's one there that in some categories is, depending on the category. It's either first, second, or third in all of South America. Medellin's got way more malls than pretty much anywhere in the planet, but they don't have one that beats those categories like in Bucaramanga. Now, I realize mall isn't everything, but no, Bucaramanga is really something. And Pereira, again, you do understand that this channel is about my personal experiences and my personal opinion. So just because I say I like this or I don't like that doesn't mean that's what's going to be for you. And it's not a matter of right or wrong, it's just how it is. And having lived there for better part of a year, albeit 20 or so years ago, I despised it. It was too hot, it's dirty, there street beggars everywhere. The pocket crime was just out of control. Now I realized that was much of Colombia way back then, but I go back to Pereira. I've been there a zillion times, in the last 5 years, and I don't see it much different. Except now add on to what you used to have. You've got a zillion Venezuelans without jobs that are panhandling in Pereira. They were drawn to it for whatever reason. And it's even worse because you go to, well, one of the things that really annoy me is the Parque Bolivar, like they all have, right? Well, you go to that one, or Bolivar Plaza, and you got this beautiful Simon Bolivar statue, and it's tree lined with palm trees. And it used to be a place that lovers would go and meet up, and friends, and you might go and meet somebody and have a lunch, sit on the park bench. I mean, it was a really nice, pleasant place. You go there now, and it's an outdoor toilet. It smells like piss everywhere. It's disgusting. The concrete is dirty, stained. I don't even like to walk by that place anymore. And it used to be just, it was like a fond memory of a place in a city that I didn't like. I loved going there because it was just so awesome. And it's crap now. And so I'm just not a fan of that stuff. And when I go other places, Ibagué is not for me. It's way too hot. And there's a lot of poverty in Ibagué because it's a bit isolated. On the other hand, I liked it. I liked it a lot, and I saw it as a viable option. In Bucaramanga, I didn't see those kinds of things there. They got Venezuelans there. It's not to pick on Venezuelans, but it's like if you have any group of people that are, down and out and they're last in the list to get a job, there's going to be issues with it. It's an economic thing. And you have them in Bucaramanga, maybe as much or more, but you don't. I went to, I did one video on parks, and I went to 7 or 8 different parks. Didn't see any of that in any of them. They were all like crystal clean, refreshing, smelled like flowers. It was a pleasant place to be. And here in Armenia, you get panhandlers and stuff like that, but you don't. It's not. I don't go out and feel like I come home and I got to take a shower. When I go to Pereira, that's how I feel. Now, there's some really nice things in Pereira, and Price Mart's there. There's some gorgeous neighborhoods there. There's a lot to be said for. And their teleferica, or the cable car thing, that's working now. I was shocked. It seemed like it took forever, but driving around town, there it was up in the sky, going across the city. So there's a lot of positives. So just because I feel that way I'm not telling you don't go there or anything. Just don't be surprised if you run into that kind of stuff. Do you ever wonder what they do with all their deli meat, chicken, and pork at night? No. if you want animals, Nick will show you animals. Yeah, absolutely. Chad, yeah, you went with him on a few excursions. Yeah, believe me, they're there. And if he's familiar, there's every landscape that exists on this planet exists here in Colombia, which you can't say about pretty much anywhere else. And with that comes different types of animals. And that's why there's more types of this, that, and the other thing than pretty much anywhere. And he knows them all. He knows everything there is to know about it. I mean, he really is a walking encyclopedia. What would be considered the wet season? That's a good question. And sadly, do I even remember? I could be a smart aleck and say whenever it's raining. Through the year, it depends where you are. Here in Armenia, and you say yes, in Armenia. Here in Armenia, it rains throughout the year. We don't really get a wet season. We don't, and people are going to argue with me about that, but I lived in Asia, and there you have a wet season where it'll just rain 24 hours a day. You get monsoons. It's crazy, and then one day the sun comes out, and there you go. It's not like that. Here it'll rain almost every day, with few exceptions, throughout the year. But when it's rainier, which tends to be, I think around now actually, or in a month or so, although we've just come through a rainy patch. Let me turn this on while I'm talking. When it rains like if it rains every day, but it might rain for half an hour in the afternoon, or you might get a big thunder boomer at 1 o'clock in the morning, for an hour or two, or maybe it'll rain at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, so you wake up and everything's soaked. When I went driving in this, that was the situation. Everything was wet because it had rained early that morning. So that's one of the things I love about here is you have the benefit of all the rain, but it doesn't mess up your life, because few mornings, although it will occasionally, but few mornings does it rain. You can go out in the morning, you can do your stuff, and by the time the equator hot afternoon sun hits, you can be home and relaxed. It's very manageable. So if you want to know when the rainy season is, it's every single day. It does rain, during more, sometimes of the year more. There's twice a year that, you'll have more of a rain output. But in the course of a year, I'll bet if there's one day, there's probably not more than one day where you might get a rain that goes on for hours. I mean, that almost never happens here. Penades is a really nice area of Pereira. Yeah, it's okay. I think, I did a video there walking around that neighborhood, and it's one of the neighborhoods. It's really nice, and there's a lot to be said for it. It's just that the overall city and feel it doesn't fit me, and the traffic, it's atrocious. It's as bad as Medellin. And if you know, I don't like Medellin because, one, it's a big city. I don't like big cities. 2, there's a lot of pollution. And 3, the traffic is crazy. So Pereira has a lot of that stuff. I love Medellin to visit because there's a lot of cool things there. I'll go to Pereira for certain things, but there is no way on this planet that I would live in those places. I'm living in Puerto Colombia, thinking about relocating to Armenia. The crime has shot up here in Barranquilla. It hasn't here yet, and as a matter of fact, the mayor just did this preemptive thing. He reallocated his budget to put on 100 additional police for the next year, and he did that because in the 4 barrios where it tends to be, it's like at the low end of humanity, and it's where there's a lot of crime, and most of the crime is inflicted on each other, on the criminals. He just doesn't want to have it, so most of these 100 are being assigned. He wants to clean it up. He's very proactive about these things. No, I'm very comfortable about the situation of Armenia. Okay, kickoff time. Thank you, Rob. Thanks for the reminder. We will, no lockdowns. The only thing here is the mask. I don't know why, but they just don't want to let it go. Everything else has been back to normal for a long time. Okay, we're going to end it here. Sorry it took me so long to remember to put that driving thing on. There's some interesting things later, but maybe I'll throw it on next week. Thank you all. Thanks again for the contributions. I really appreciate it. And see you next Sunday. Ciao.